Welcome to Manhattan Community Board's 9 General Board meeting for March 2025. My name is Victor Edwards. I have the pleasure and the honor of serving as chair of this board. And I'm gonna motion to call the meeting to order. A motion to adopt the agenda. With a change, I'm gonna move our elected officials who graciously joined us this evening up. They just came down from Albany and have other business to attend to, so I want to move them up before our presentation. So adopt the agenda with changes.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And let's adopt the minutes from February 20th, 2025 with any necessary corrections.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. So, welcome to our visitors. I thank you. It's great to see a full assembly here this evening. We have so much business that's going on in the community and the country. So we need all ears, all voices to pitch in and hear what's going on so we can work as one to make sure our community survives and gets everything we deserve. All right, so thank you one and all. So without further ado, I want to call up Mr. Jordan Wright, Assembly Member for our area. Mr. Wright. Is Mike in the middle there? Yes, thank you. Yes.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Jordan Wright, Assembly Member for the 70th Assembly District. Means a lot for me to be here today. It's been an interesting first quarter up in Albany. I'm really learning a lot about how the process works, how the sausage gets made. I have some great legislation coming down the pipe regarding 110th Street and getting that renamed to the Malcolm X train station. Thank you. Have some other good pieces coming down the pipe in regards to sports gambling and sports wagering. Because while I'm a proponent of the proliferation of these kinds of buildings and events and stuff, so on and so forth, the safeguards have to be in to ensure that they're going to be done and done right for our young people. Because I don't know about you all, as I move around the community and people are talking about sports gambling, sports wagering, it's dangerous. And I've seen my friends, people in my community really lose a lot just because they enjoy wagering on sports, which are happening all the time. Anyway, I like to say working on some good stuff to tamp that back and make sure that it's going well for our community and everything we have around us. Transportation Committee is going very well. The Racing and Wagering Committee is going very well. And I'm at a place now where I'm just happy to be going to Albany once a week or a couple times a week. We got the budget coming through now. Remember last year, we'll discuss some of the things he has going on in the budget too. And I'm just here to say hello. Make sure you guys know I'm here. I'm fresh from Albany and, happy to, am I taking questions, Barry? Am I? Yes. Yes. Okay. Good evening.
Were you able to get your business cards?
Yes, I was. And I can give you one right now, sir. I think. I also might have not have any left, but I will try. Let's see. Either way, my Chief of Staff, Maurice Cummings, is here, right over there. If you don't got mine, you can get his. We can get that done. That's no problem. Yeah, sorry. So, Barry. Yes. The positives, I'm talking about, any casino that might come to the city, making sure that folks from my neighborhood can get jobs in the casino, building the casino, so on and so forth. Any other questions? All right, thank you all. Yes. I am on the Transportation Committee, the Libraries and Education Committee. Sorry, I'm doing from memory, guys, I'm sorry. Racing and Wagering, Aging, and Economic Development.
Oh, great. Okay.
I said libraries. So those are my committee. Yes. I don't have any cards on me, but my Chief of Staff, Maurice Cummings, we can make sure you get his card. Okay, not a problem. Good. Yes. Yes, so you'll see in the budget, once that kind of gets negotiated out a little more, and then once that's passed, I'll come here and discuss that more. The state of New York is doing everything it can to stop the cuts and all the craziness that's happening in Washington, so we can continue to be the great progressive New York that we will have always been. There could be, but as we get there, that'll be discussed more. But working on the budget, our speaker, Carl Hasty, is a great leader in ensuring that New York can continue to move forward, even while the Washington and the federal government tries to keep us backwards. Okay. Cool. Good. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jordan.
Oh, yes,
Appreciate
one more. Excuse me? The MTA, yes. Yes.
We have another mic?
Really? Where was that?
He has a mic and this is a mic.
Usually three.
I thought it was only two.
Oh, okay, maybe you're right.
So where's the other one?
He has it.
He has the one. You want me to ask for another mic? Yeah.
Got it. Understood. Our office, we're going to look into it. My chief of staff will make sure there's his card right there. Make sure you reach out to our office so we can investigate this. And I'll talk to the Transportation Committee Chair, Bill Magnarelli. Yes. Mhm.
The system only allows two.
That's happening over here. Which precinct? 3-0. Okay, got it. So make sure to reach out to the 3-0, see if they're what's going on, why they're doing that. So okay. Okay. Oh, it's the MTA. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, cool. All right. So I'll reach out to the folks over there at the MTA with like I said, the chair of the Transportation Committee, Bill Magnarelli. I'll bring this to him. I can see what's going on and try to get an answer for you guys.
Is it a quality of life issue, Joyce? Yes. Fine.
No. Tickets. Double park tickets.
Oh, Transit District 3 also.
It's the buses.
I stepped away, I didn't know.
No.
As long as I've been alive, I've seen that. So I'd love to. Say no more. I'm in. Got it. Take a look. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you, Victor.
So much.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. One more thing, my office phone number. I'll say it again. I always say it when I come here, 212-866-5809. That's 212-866-5809. Thank you all so much.
Great. And next up is the Assemblyman from the 69th, Mika Lasser.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Micah Lasher.
Micah.
I'm the new Assembly member from the 69th Assembly District, which is just to the south of Assembly Member Wright's district from 125th Street, basically west of Morningside Park, west of Central Park, down to 80th Street. And it's a privilege to be with you this evening. It's a privilege to represent this extraordinary set of neighborhoods in the State Assembly. As Assembly Member Wright said, we are working very hard in Albany on a state budget that will be as protective as we can manage of the many services that New Yorkers depend on that are presently under threat by what's coming out of Washington and this reactionary regime that has taken over. I'm on the legislative front spending a fair amount of time thinking about what legal and legislative tools we might have to protect New Yorkers in the context of what's happening in Washington. So Assemblymember Wright and I together have introduced legislation that would protect New Yorkers from housing discrimination because Donald Trump who was one of the very first people to be sued by the Department of Justice in the 1970s for housing discrimination, is going to shut down Fair Housing Act enforcement in Washington. I was proud last week to stand with Attorney General Tish James, and I will be introducing her legislation called the Fair Business Practices Act to do consumer protection and expand her authority to protect consumers, because Trump is shutting down the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is the main agency in Washington that protects consumers. And I'll give you a preview. We haven't announced it yet, but on Monday or Tuesday, we'll be announcing two pieces of legislation. One is called the Bridge Act, which would allow former federal employees to come work for the state and make some of their time in federal service eligible for state pension credit. So the idea is these are people, these are public servants who have talent and expertise that has been developed over years. And we need talented people working for the state of New York. And we want them to come work here, and we honor their service, and we're going to try to make it easier and more economically beneficial for them to come work for the state of New York. And we're also going to be introducing something called the Recourse Act, which would authorize the state of New York to withhold funds, withhold payments to the federal government in the likely event that the federal government, in contravention of a court order, withholds payment to the state. And I should say, that would be an extraordinary action on the part of the state, but I think we need to think about all the tools that we can muster to fight like hell about what's going on in Washington. More locally, I will just say in this neighborhood, I'm trying to lend as much support and strength as I can to the many community activists that have been fighting for a long time to get elevators at the 125th Street 1 station. I sent a letter to the chair of the MTA and the president of Columbia University. And I said that while people like Assemblymember Wright and myself are up in Albany fighting to make sure that the MTA has a fully funded capital plan, one of the reasons that we are so motivated to do that is because we need things in our community. And elevators at 125th Street are a prime example of that. And I'm hopeful that in the not too distant future, we can have some good news on that front. So those are just some of the things that we're working on, and I'd be grateful for your questions. I am on the confusingly named Committee on Corporations and Authorities, which has oversight over the MTA as an authority. I'm on the committee, I'm with Assemblymember Wright on the Committee on Economic Development. I'm on the Committee on Children and Families, which covers childcare and the foster care system. I am on the Committee on Environmental Conservation and on the Committee on Tourism, Arts, and Parks, which in a district that includes meaningful chunks of Central Park and Riverside Park is a pretty cool committee to be in. Other questions?
Question for you. At Columbia University, we've been working with State Senator Cordell Clear and some other groups to have Columbia open the gates at 116th.
Yes.
It's been a real inconvenience for the people living on the Amsterdam side, especially seniors, to have to walk 2 blocks around and 2 blocks back up. Have you had any input or any contact regarding that?
I know that my office and I please contact my office. We are pushing Columbia. I know they say they have a resident pass program. I know that what's that? Have they canceled that? Okay. What I would say is I'm at your disposal. Please, if you are a resident of the neighborhood who needs to get Columbia to get you access, please reach out to my office. I'm at 212-866-3970, and we're at your disposal.
Okay. Any other questions?
Can you repeat that?
Sorry, it's 212-866-3970, and it has been I'm on 104th Street between Broadway and West End, which is where that assembly office has been, if not for my entire lifetime, pretty darn close. So, yes. I do not. Not to be parochial, but I will confess that is north of my district, so I'm not on top of it. But it's certainly, I'm sure, something that my colleague can look into it. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Joyce, can you speak up? I know you can. Put your-
Outside voice.
Yeah. I am certainly happy to be of any assistance I can be. What I would suggest is that on these sorts of issues, I would just ask to, you can, on both my website and Assemblymember Rights website, we have the maps of our district. And so we try to divide and conquer. So if it's an issue in my district, please, I'm at your disposal. And likewise, I'm sure for Assemblymember Wright. I do. There you go.
Right. Miriam, one other question, last question, Miriam?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that is an excellent question. I don't think I could give you a well-informed answer tonight, but let me get your information. If I could ask you, if you give me your email address, I will follow up. So. Terrific. Thank you all for having me. And again, please, I'll leave my cards on the front table. And if there's any way that I or my office can be of assistance, or if you think that there is something that we need to be paying more attention to in Albany, please reach out and let me know. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
All righty, thank you so much. Appreciate it. So next up is a presentation from Ann Anesta on 1096, public service retirees.
Good evening. Good evening, Manhattan Community Board 9 members.
you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Chairman Victor Edwards, District Manager Yusuf Prince, and Honorable Council Member Yusef Salam. Thank you for scheduling time tonight to discuss the critical issues facing thousands of New York City public service retirees and the urgency in passing Intro 1096, the Retiree Healthcare Bill. My name is Anna Nesta. I was a public servant for the New York City Department of Education for 36 years. I served as a special education teacher, supervisor, administrator, and director of student services throughout New York City. Tonight, I represent 250,000 Medicare-eligible public service retirees from 104 municipal labor unions who, like me, worked hard, contributed, and paid for good health care benefits for ourselves and dependents during our active years of employment. Firstly, I'd like to thank Council Member Yusef Salam for supporting and signing on to Intro 1099 a couple of years ago. We appreciate you. But those retiree healthcare benefits protected by legal agreement with the City of New York since 1967 in Administrative Code 12126 are still being violated, diminished, and at risk of being replaced by privatized Medicare disadvantage plans. And that's why I'm speaking to you tonight. New York City Retirees Organization expects every community board and city council member to support Intro 1096. But first, let me debunk some of the misinformation around town. In discussing with one of the other city council members in a different borough, I heard this: signing on to 1096 will cost the city more money. Nope. Administrative Code 12126 states the city will fully pay retiree health care costs. I've also heard this comment: unions should be the ones fighting to preserve and protect retiree health care. Wrong again. Not one retiree asking for your support tonight is still protected by the collective bargaining agreements, unions. And we just need for everybody to understand that the unions are protecting the working conditions and salaries of the actives. Nobody's protecting the retirees. The third fallacy I've heard from a city council member who would not sign on to 1096 because of the Taylor Law, which prohibits strikes and rallies and protests. Well, the Taylor Law pertains to actives. It does not pertain to retirees. And we are limited to rallying, litigating, legislating, and enlisting support at meetings like yours to protect our retiree health care. Since 2021, when the city tried to auto-enroll all of us in Medicare Advantage plans, there have been 11 court decisions upholding our guaranteed retiree premium-free health care. It comes down to this. The Organization of New York City Retirees, under the leadership of President Mary Ann Pizzatola, is passionate in finally passing Intro 1096 now. Let's put an end to the city's arbitrary and capricious and expensive appeals. Protect the vested health care for New York City service retirees and sign on to Intro 1096, a local bill that guarantees that promises made are promises kept. Clearly, it's the right thing to do. Thank you in advance for adding Community Board 9 Manhattan and Community and City Council Member Salam to the growing list of Intro 1096 supporters. Thank you. Questions?
Walter?
Good evening, and thank you for coming tonight. First and foremost, thank Mary Ann because she's doing a knockout job with that. She is a fighter. I listened to her BAI program on Friday mornings at 7 a.m. I am also a city retiree. My concern is more than Dr. Oz is supposed to be taking over Medicare. So even if we pass our 1096, will they, because he belongs to one of the privatized services. My assumption is that he may want to move Medicare into one of the profitable ones, so of course they can get profits from it. Would they be, if we pass 1096, would they be able to override that? And number two, real quick, how many, I know, thank God, I'm in Salam's area, we still need some more city council people to join in. So I don't think a brew has done it yet. Can you update us on who has? And thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I can give you an update. We have, I know the names of 8 city council members. If you'd like, just give me a second, I'll read them out to you. And we have, I think, since then, a few more, but I don't have those names. I certainly, myself or Mary Ann Pizzatola will get back to Council Member Salam for that information, but I can give you something for now. Just a sec. Okay. So the city council member who introduced was Marte. Then Holden joined, and from Glendale, Lee Palladino, Marmarato, Vernikoff, Ariola, Christian, Mercedes Narcisse, Shahana Hanif, Gail Brewer, plus several others. In terms of what will the federal government be able to do to our city vested healthcare for not only retirees, but for actives, I don't know that I can answer that question. I'm sorry, but we're hoping that we can at least preserve and protect Administrative Code 12126 so that we'll have a fighting chance.
Thank you. Lydia? Yes.
Hi.
I
Oh, yeah. Hi. Thank you for your presentation. We are all in awe of what this group has been doing to assure us of a profit-free health insurance, which I think should be available to all people in this country. I always ask, what the heck am I paying my taxes for? But at this point, we don't have the majority to pass this in the council. Is that right?
I believe you're right. I believe that we're looking for 27. And so truthfully, I think the council, if they really wanted to pass it, could pass it, but that's just me. But yeah, we
No,
are
you're
working
right.
on our numbers and we are out and about. And we are looking to include and motivate and attract as many city council members as possible at this point in time. We had 1099, as you know, before this. And I'm not even sure why that did not get passed, but we're very passionate about passing 1096 now.
Right, and I have here approached our council person, Shona Abreu, about this. And I have written an email. Let's hope that he comes around to supporting this. And
Thank you so much. Yes, let's hope.
Thank you so much. I also am a city retiree, having worked 40 years for the city, both in the Department of Education and New York City Housing Authority. And I have approached Sean Abreu as far as supporting this. And back in the 70s, I wasn't working then, but back in the 70s, people who were working gave back. They postponed promotions, they gave back to the city during the financial crisis, and this is the thanks we get. So I am very motivated to push this along with whoever we have to speak to, because it's not right. In your golden ages when you need health care, now you want to take it away and put it on a for-profit platform. It's definitely not right. So we will continue to fight. But thank you for your time and your comments.
And thank you too.
Yeah. All righty.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Department of Sanitation, giving us an update. Gentlemen, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Victor Hayutha. Nice to see the whole crew again. I'm Joshua Goodman, Deputy Commissioner for Public Affairs at the Department of Sanitation. Jonathan Vigers, who's our Assistant Commissioner for Outreach. We'll just wait 1 minute for the presentation to go up. I know a lot of you have seen this presentation as many as 12 or 13 times by now, but there are new facts, dates, and figures this month. We're really, really excited to say that we're coming down to the wire. Now, obviously, the next steps in our Manhattan Community District 9 containerization pilot do not mean that we will stop coming. So you're not going to get rid of us just yet. We'll be here, well, you know, probably for the rest of our lives, but it's great.
I feel so much better now.
It's, you know, so do I. I mean, the opportunity to come
And let us know what's going on.
to West Harlem is, you know, there's no way for me to say this without sounding like I'm being facetious, but I mean it. It's great to be here. So let me just say I mean it.
Next slide.
You mind if we get it up big? I mean, it's okay. If not, I can just go ahead. I think. Okay, it's fine. That's what I was waiting for. We'll go ahead and get started. No, it's fine. It's fine. I don't want to hold it up. We can just go on to the next slide.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
But can people on Zoom
Oh.
still see the screen? Can you still see the PowerPoint on Zoom?
Solomon, can you see it?
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you again, everybody, for your patience, and thank you for getting it set up. So just by way of quick introduction, as you all know, for about 50 years, New York City has been one of the only developed cities in the world where you're not just allowed to put your trash bags right on the street, you are in fact encouraged or even required to do so. This makes us an outlier on the global stage, as so much of the rest of the world has innovated around the way they deal with their waste. And as we all know, there's a lot of reasons why it's like that. The city was built without alleyways. It doesn't have space for underground storage. I'm not here to fault anybody who created that system, but the fact is that it doesn't have to be this way. And as all of us who've grown up here, who've been in the city a long time, know that for like a long time, if somebody came here from Chicago or LA or Paris or Amsterdam and said to you, why do you put the trash bags right on the street? The answer was, go to hell, that's why, right? Like, we sort of became proud of it. We became like, we believed that was the way it was supposed to be. And it's not. It doesn't have to be like that. So for the last year and a half, we've been engaged in what we call the trash revolution, a move towards getting the trash bags off the street and into containers of one kind or another everywhere in the city. And Community District 9 has been the beating heart of that effort, has been sort of the vanguard of the trash revolution. We're moving towards the next steps of that process here in West Harlem. And we're going to talk a little bit today about what's happening citywide, what's happening here specifically, and what residents have to look forward to. So beginning in September of 2023, a form of on-street container went in on 10 blocks in Hamilton Heights, as well as 14 schools. This was a phenomenally successful first effort that also provided a lot of information about next steps, which is what a pilot is supposed to do, right? You're supposed to say, here's what works and here's what doesn't. The first thing we'll say about what worked in this program: the streets looked a lot better. There weren't trash bags out on them 3 nights a week. They were in these containers. And the rat sightings were the big takeaway. Historically, we all know how often people report rats. It goes in one direction, right? It only goes up. If you ever saw a year with a 5 or 6% decrease, that was huge. On these 10 blocks in Hamilton Heights, in the first 6 months of this program, we saw a 60% reduction in rats reported at 311. I mean, that's a number that is like, I was a big believer in this program, and I had to triple check that. I thought there was no way you could be seeing a 60% reduction in rat sightings, but we were, and that's continued. But we did see a few things that informed our next steps. We always knew that containers on wheels like these were not the right approach. They were good for testing something out, but we knew that eventually we needed to move to a stationary on-street container that's lifted by a side-loading truck. And this was a way to sort of get some information while we developed that special new truck. So moving forward with a stationary container, a sealed container. These ones anybody can open. It still helped keep the rats out, but we heard from a lot of buildings, somebody else puts their, like, it made it hard for us to do cleanliness enforcement because we didn't always know who had put material there. So we wanted to move forward with a sealed container. And the biggest thing that's going to inform sort of the rest of this conversation was a really sort of amazing discovery that we made during the pilot about the design of the containers for what we're going to do going forward. In most of the world, this is really important because it's something really different that we're going to do. In Europe, in South America, and Asia, in cities that are fully containerized, the bins are shared by the whole block. They're somewhere on the block and everybody has to walk down to it. We always had concerns with that model because New York has building supers that other places don't have. We have issues about our commercial businesses don't use the same trash collection system as residents, or how do you keep it separate? We always worried that a shared container might be the Achilles heel of this program. When we were doing this pilot on the 10 blocks in Hamilton Heights, we discovered that New York City's density is actually so great that we could be the only city in the world where the containers are not shared. They're assigned to a specific larger building. So the way it's going to work, and we'll talk more about this on future slides, is that the building management, whoever handles the waste in that building, will have key cards that allow them to open the bin, and it will only be for that building, which is a huge development. It's going to make for such a cleaner and more efficient system, and it makes for a more efficient use of our street space. We'll go to the next slide, please. So we just skipped over one, but I can just go ahead and say what was on it really quickly. We were talking about, oh, thank you, what the model looks like for full containerization. And here I'm going to be talking about a mix of things that are happening citywide and things that are specific to Community District 9, at least for now, but it's what we hope to take citywide eventually. So since November of last year, every smaller building, single family homes up through a 9-unit apartment building, has been required to use a bin like the one on the left. That's the official New York City bin. If they're already using their own bin, that's fine until the middle of next year. But those are the bins, I'm sure you've seen them on a lot of the lower density blocks in the city that a single family home, small apartment uses. What you've got on the right side is what we call the Empire bin. That's the stationary on-street container that is going to be coming to every larger building with 31 or more units. And buildings in the middle with 10 to 30 got a choice. So Jonathan's team was up here all through the winter, basically, talking to the roughly 400 10 to 30 unit buildings and explaining in Community District 9 and explaining this choice to them and getting them to choose one or the other. The next slide, please. Thank you. So just to go through the timeline, I'm sorry, am I going back one? Thank you. Just to go through the timeline, citywide, since November, properties with 1 to 9 units have had to use a bin, 55 gallons or less, wheels, no wheels, doesn't matter, just has to have a secure lid to keep out the rats. We did this outreach period, December and January, to talk to the 10 to 30 buildings in Community District 9 and give them the choice. In April, the current 10-block pilot, what we saw on that first slide, is coming out. That's when that will go away. And I know that's a new piece of information today. It's something that the people in those 10 blocks have been asking. When should we expect them to be removed? They will come off in April, and there's going to be signage on them. Is it there already? Yeah, okay, there's signage on the bins now saying that they'll come out in April. The new bins will begin to be installed around that same time, starting with schools and then going block by block throughout the entire district, not just those 10 blocks. The pilot will run from June 1st to May 31st of next year. And we're going to have some really amazing information about what it looks like to finally defeat the black bags of trash and the rats once and for all. Next slide, please. So just in case you're interested, I won't spend a lot of time on this, about the sort of breakdown in the district. We're looking at roughly 1,000 of the Empire bins when you put together the 31 plus buildings and the 10 to 30s that chose to opt in, as well as the schools. Next slide, please. Thank you. So how are they going to work? So the Empire bin, as I've mentioned, is assigned to a specific, and that's what it looks like being hoisted into the truck, assigned to a specific large building, locked only for use by that building. One of the biggest questions we got was, do I have to worry about the businesses on my block? Do I have to worry about my neighbors putting trash in it? Only whoever handles the trash in the building now will have the key card to open it. They'll be serviced by these new automated side loading trucks, it's an incredible development, this thing. We had an early estimate from a study we did that it would take about 5 years to build. This is the first one in North America that it would take about 5 years to build. We actually got it done in 14 months. So we're really excited about it. It's one of those things that really proves what government can do when you do sort of the, really, really dig deep on something. So we're excited to get them on the streets here in Community District 9. And each bin is there's, I think there's a picture later on, is the size of about 28 large trash bags. So when you see one, you think that's 28 bags that are not sitting on my street anymore. Next slide, please. So they're going to come in mid-April. They will be, to the extent possible, right in front of the building that's using them or where they set out their trash. We're working with the buildings directly. The siting is being done in coordination with DOT as well to make sure that we're not obstructing existing infrastructure like bike lanes, bus stops, curb cuts, fire hydrants. Collection will begin immediately. The pilot legally is set for June 1st start date, but when the bins show up on your block, your building can start using them right away. We'll be servicing them that day or whenever your collection day is that week. Your schedule will not change. Whatever your 3 days are, that's your 3 days for trash. But one thing that is cool about it is it removes that set out time for the larger buildings, right? Right now, they can't put their trash out until 8 p.m. if they're putting it on the street. Once they have their Empire bin, they can put it in anytime, but we'll be coming on the same schedule. And there's no change to composting and recycling. This is just trash. Next slide, please. Thank you. So just a little bit, I don't know how many people here are building managers in large buildings, probably not too many, so I won't spend too much time on the mechanics of it. We're doing more in-depth trainings for building supers and building management, but key cards can go in at any time. There's no maximum number of access cards. If a building says, hey, I have 7 people who handle the trash, that's fine. We're happy to accommodate that. And the company that makes these bins, they're the same ones that do Madrid and Barcelona. They're actually, but we're the first US city to use this kind of a container. They're actually going to have an office right over the river in the Bronx so they can get people key cards same day if there's ever an issue. We're going to make sure that everybody has what they need. Next slide, please. One question we get a lot is about maintenance. Our contract with this company, the Spanish company that's doing them, requires them to do sort of internal deep clean as well as maintenance if something breaks on the bins. 4 times a year, they have to deep clean it. But a property owner is responsible for keeping the area around it clean. So we all know property owners are currently responsible for that curb line and 18 inches into the street, right? It's your fault if there's a, it's not dirty in front. The way it's written is that 18 inches into the street extends just the 18 inches around your bin. So we'll do the inside, but property owners will be responsible for the outside, just like they are for their outside of their properties now. Next slide, please. So as long as the pilot is going on, the buildings that have opted, that either are required to use them, the 31 pluses, or the 10 to 30s that have opted in, do have to use them. You can't be like, oh, I was using it, but now I don't feel like using it. You have to use it. Our teams will be out there checking. We do have a form that property managers of the large buildings need to fill out just so we have your contact info and can get you that key card. So if you know anyone, we've had maybe about 80% completion so far, but if you know anyone who manages or owns a large building in the district, please check with them that they filled out the form at nyc.gov/empirebins. Next slide, please. So the opt-in period is now closed. We may reopen it next year, but the buildings, the 10 to 30s that did not choose to opt in, they will need to get wheelie bins just like the small buildings do, right? So the 1 to 9s have to use the little bins. The 10 to 30s were given a choice to opt in for the on-street container. If they did not, they also, in Community District 9, have to get wheelie bins at www.bins.nyc. And we've told them all that, but just making sure you all know what the plan is. Next slide, please. So one little wrinkle here is just the lower density buildings, 1 to 9s, in the 10 blocks that have those shared bins. Right? Every 1 to 9 unit building in the city has had to use a wheelie bin since November of last year. The one exception was those 10 blocks because they had the on-street container. The lower density buildings in those 10 blocks also need to get wheelie bins by June 1st because their on-street containers are going away. And we're doing specialized outreach to them too, but just for anyone in the room who may live in that zone. Next slide, please. So, and a little bit about the bin itself. This is the cheapest bin of its quality on the market. If you are not currently using it and you live in a 1 to 9 unit property or a 10 to 30 that didn't opt in for an Empire bin, we highly recommend that you go ahead and place your order. I will say you've been required to use it for some time. You will not receive a summons for failure to use it if you have an open order. Place the order, and until because we have the list of people who've ordered and people who've had their bins delivered plugged right into our enforcement system. So if you're waiting on an order, we can't write you a ticket. So place that order if you haven't yet. Next slide, please. And they do come in a 35 and a 45 gallon. You can go right past that. That's fine. It's okay. I think that might be on our end. And this might be the last one. Yeah, I think that's the last slide. And we can go ahead and take questions about this. But I just want to emphasize again, this is an incredibly exciting project, and we're really happy to be here working on it. It's mandatory to use one of these options. Everybody has, no, it will be, that's what we're here talking about, right? So let me just run through it very straightforward again. By June 1st, Manhattan Community District 9 becomes the first fully containerized district in the city. Everybody by then has to be using a container. Yes. Smaller buildings, 1 to 9, use one of those. Largest buildings, 31 plus, we're going to give you an on-street container. The mid-sized buildings had a chance to opt in for the on-street container. If they don't, they got to get these. So compost. So you know how 1 day a week your recycling goes out? Right, that's also your composting day. It'll be in the compost bin, the brown bin. So these are just for trash. This is just for like everything that can't go, right? Recycling and compost, they still go out the same. And this is a new for the trash for everything else. For now, exactly right.
Question, Heather?
Oh, I'll let the chair call on people. I'm sorry. We tell people that they can lock up their small bins for the 1 to 9. The question was, can the 1 to 9s be locked? There's no way to put the same kind of a key card system on them because it only works with this when we're lifting it up. You can put no, because we need to be able to collect them much more quickly than that. Right. Well, there should be on the little latch, which you can attach a lock to. Right. You know, I mean, I'll take it back to the design team. I'll just say, you know, one thing is like when it comes to those bins, the little bins, we are far from the first place to use them. You know, they're used in every city in the world. So virtually every city in the world. So I'll look into what are some of the other options, you know, but there shouldn't be an issue with someone else using them, right? I mean, okay. And I guess just so that I can understand, what is the issue that it's causing? Like if I put something in your trash bin, what is the issue? Okay, got it. I understand. Right. Right. Okay.
Other questions? Yes.
Your understanding is correct. The compost can go out in either the compost bin, the brown bin, or in a clear bag.
Great. Yes.
We're going to
Yeah, so we're figuring out the plan that we are going to how we're going to distribute the access cards now, but we're going to make sure that they get the card, and we'll also have trainings for the staff available. We've been in contact with most of the supers in this neighborhood. Honestly, I personally have knocked on hundreds of doors. So anyone who filled out that form, we have all their contact information. We'll send them training materials so that they know how to open it. Yeah, definitely. I'll give you my card.
Okay. So there was a period of time when we were giving out free ones last fall. Now they're available at bins.nyc. And especially for a larger building, you probably need more than one anyway. So even if you had gotten, we were giving out one free one per building. So bins.nyc, they're available there for purchase now.
Walter?
Mhm.
And they said don't put phones or meat.
Right. For their program. For our program, we'd love your meat and bones. Yeah, so I can explain like a little bit about just real fast, kind of the history on that. There are community groups that do composting at community gardens. They do it right in the neighborhood. That's great, but they have more restrictions on what material they can take. The DSNY curbside composting program, we take anything from your kitchen, anything from your garden, because we have just bigger equipment than they do. Anybody who wants to work with them, I'm not going to knock on those community programs, but ours is, my opinion, a little more convenient, a little easier.
Yes.
Correct. Yes. Those were our sort of an additive thing to the curbside program. You know, we rolled out the curbside program in phases over a period of 2.5 years, sort of going borough by borough. And when we first did Queens was the first borough, we were curious, are people still going to use the orange bins? Absolutely. So they're staying.
Last question, Barry.
I think this is something that people who live in buildings on avenues are going to encounter. My building put in for the bins for the composting one, I think, and sanitation claimed they were unable to deliver them because our building its address is 604 Riverside Drive. We're on Riverside Drive, but sanitation has the other side of our building at 644 West 138th Street as our official address, and so they claimed they were unable to deliver. How should people who have two addresses handle working with sanitation?
Well, I mean, the first thing they can do is just talk to us directly, but 311 should be able to get these corrected. It's a perfect example of like what 311 is built for. And we have encountered that, you know, in a situation like that. I don't know this specific one. What usually happens is we show up to the address you listed and it's like a commercial property over there. And the building manager there goes, I don't know who ordered that. That wasn't me. I had nothing to do with that. And so we're just like, what are we supposed to do? Right? We leave. So when you get that kind of notification that we encountered a problem, 311, that's what we're here for.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. We'll stick around for a little while, of course,
Great.
and excited to see everybody again soon.
Okay, moving on with our agenda. Next up is the chair's report. Chair's report is in your packet. I have some additional items I'm going to go over really quickly. For those who have to reapply to the board, I hope you've done that. And the interviews ended yesterday for people who are reapplying. If for some reason you missed the interview, let me know and we can set up another interview for you. All right, that's for board members reapplying. If there's anyone here who has applied for the first time, hope you did the interviews as well, and good luck. We'd love to see you with us. The State of the Borough address by Mark Levine will be this Sunday at the LaGuardia High School at 2 o'clock. Doors open at 1:30. If you're interested in that, please show up and hear what he has to say. We're trying to form a nomination committee. I think we got a few people, if I'm not mistaken, at executive. Salma, you remember how many people we got for? 3 or 4 people. 3 to, okay. So we still need.
We have 3.
We have 3, we need 2 more. Is it 5 and a alternate? 5 and alternate. So elections are coming up soon. Board members, please, if you have time, volunteer for that. Make this process go smoothly. We would appreciate it. Thank you. At executive board meeting last Thursday, we had a robust discussion about a state Senate bill S455A. This Senate bill is regarding quorum for our meetings. There's a proposal to change quorum from what it is now, 50% plus 1, to as low as 25%. So, which we thought was a little low. We'll have further discussions about this, but I like to see people in person to talk about things, and we've had problems. I think in the last 2 days, I received probably a half a dozen people who are not here tonight. Some are virtual, but some are just, I couldn't make it, for whatever reasons. And times we can't do business. I know there's committees that had resolutions that they couldn't move forward on because people don't show up. Now, as some of you might know, we have removed 3 people from the board for their attendance. And there will be others, because I've stated at the first meeting to people and probably throughout the year that you have to have time to dedicate to this. It's at least 3 meetings a month, if not sometimes more. If you can't do that, then I understand, and let someone else have that position. But to come and sign up and then not come is hurtful to the community. This is not something you just put in your resume and say, I was on the board. No, this is real work. And that real work takes place in person for the most part. So I can't stress that enough. So we will have further discussions about that as far as the bill that's in the state Senate, where we stand on that. And we'll talk about what we think might be the proper number of people to have quorum so we can do work. I know a lot of people have gotten used to being virtual due to the pandemic, and that's a new way of doing business, but we do more business in person at this point, and we need that to move forward. So I just want to make that clear. We have 2 resos that are coming up on the agenda that are very pertinent to what we do here. One, 1727 Broadway. Barry will present that, what's going on there and how things are being forced on the community. And the second one by Clayton and Veronica regarding Mahmoud Khalil at Columbia University and the right to free speech and free assembly. This is something this country was based on, and now that's being taken away. And a lot of protests during the 60s and 70s started on college campuses, whether it be Black Studies, LGBTQ, other rights started on. When we eliminate that, then we have a problem. And as I'm sure you all know, Columbia's under great stress right now, being taking away a huge sum of money, and it affects them. And their arms are being twisted to do what a dictator wants to do. Okay, I said it. That's what I feel. And if we can't have our young people speak up, our professors speak up, then we have a problem in this country. And we do have a problem. So another thank you both for that, and thank you, Barry, for that. Pertinent. And this is the kind of, for visitors, this is the kind of work we do here. And we need people who are going to step up and do that. So thank you. Columbia University also, Barry and I have been meeting for several months about trying to have the gates open, working with State Senator Cordell Clear. We've made some progress. I think the young lady here said that was taken away. They had QR codes where you could show the QR code if you're a resident in the area and walk through. It doesn't seem like a big task to some people, but if you're a senior or physically challenged to walk an extra 4 blocks to the train, is a lot. So we're still working on that. I know their hands are full, and the people that we work directly with have been in Washington quite a bit, so we haven't really had a chance to speak again. This past Tuesday, I had the pleasure of meeting with the Parks Borough Commissioner, Tricia, who used to be in the Borough President's office, and we did a walkthrough of 10 Mile River Park down on 148th and the water. And that was brought about by one of our members, Veronica Savage. Back in the beginning of this term, as I call it, you made a comment to her that why is there disparity between what we see in the 70s, parks in 72nd and the like, Washington Heights parks, and our park that's in our district. And I don't think she was really aware of the difference. So I said, let's show you. So we did a walkthrough and I showed the different things. Now, she did some explaining that was very pertinent to me. Washington Heights had a capital improvement project where they redid the entire park. They have picnic tables and benches that are in the ground and metal. They have volleyball courts. They have slides, they have a host of things, which is great. In the lower 72nd Street, Gales Brewers area, they have, which I've never seen before, batting cages, a batting cage in a public park. They have brand new basketball courts, which we don't have. I've asked for 3 to 4 years for tables, just wooden tables. Just wooden tables so people don't have to carry tables down to the park. I see people lugging them on shopping carts across the Denning-Farrell Bridge into the park. It's not right. So we're waiting for our capital projects. I will be speaking to our council member again about this. He has given some money for some equipment down there, but I'll be speaking, when is our capital project coming? Our young people use that park. Our adults use the park. Why shouldn't we have the same thing that other people have? Yes. Mhm. Okay. Agreed. I will walk that with you if you'd like, so we can point it out and take pictures. What I did was, I took pictures of Fort Washington Park and what's in the 72nd and showed them. And then we actually walked some of it. And I was promised some more tables for this summer, so I'm hoping that comes through, all right? Lastly, I'd like to announce the appointment of a new co-chair for Uniform Services and Transportation, Ms. April Adams, who unfortunately is not here tonight, but I think she will be able to help Solomon out, who's doing a fine job, and not replacing, but filling the position from our Callan Thompson. All right. And yes, the service for Callan will be on Sunday, April 6th, 2025, from 3 to 6 at, what's that, Macedonia? Correct?
Yes,
Okay, just going from memory.
yes, you're correct.
Right, Macedonia. So yeah, a couple of weeks away. I'll get the word out to the community. People would know her. I've contacted people in my building that knew her in next building over, and I'll put up flyers in a couple of buildings in the area as well. So hopefully we'll get a good turnout. Oh, most definitely. Yes. So by all means, if you can make it, we'll send out reminders. It'd be nice to show the family that we care and are concerned. So.
And flyers are on the information table as well. And I have been in contact with officers that have retired, like Detective Jason Harper, Detective Urena, and Officer Anna Amati. They will be there.
Great. Okay. Next up, Treasurer's Report.
Treasurer's report is in your packet. Please review it. There you'll see, I'm sorry, good evening, everyone. The treasurer's report is in your packet. Please review it. If you have questions, you'll see where our operations for the month, all our expenses, and our remaining uncommitted balances. I just want to say thank you to everyone that participated in the public hearing again in February for the preliminary budget responses. So thank you. That's my report.
Good evening, everyone. The district manager's report is in your packet. And in addition, I have some information to share. After nearly 2 decades of serving the city of New York at the Department of Transportation and the mayor's office, Ed Pincard Jr. is bidding farewell to DOT. DOT is celebrating Ed at his DOT tenure as Manhattan Borough Commissioner, Deputy Borough Commissioner, Director of Intergovernmental Affairs, FDC's Director of Special Projects, and Community Coordinator. Ed won't be going too far. He'll remain in the heart of Manhattan, serving in his new capacity as the president of the Fifth Avenue Association. There will be a celebration on Monday. Let me know if you'd like to attend. I have the information. Also summarizing 2025, which is in partnership between NYC Public Schools and Department of Youth and Community Development, DYCD. Summarizing is a free and available to all NYC students in grades K through 8. Students in Summarizing will have access to both academic and enrichment programming over the course of the day, including field trips, arts activities, and outdoor recreation. You can visit the DOE website for further information, and their website is nyc.gov/summarizing, or email questions to summer@schools.nyc.gov. The flyer is also available on the information table. We've heard a lot about sanitation regulations this evening, and I am going to share that curbside composting is mandatory. All NYC residents are currently required to separate yard waste, food scraps, and food soiled paper from trash and recycling, starting April 1st. Property owners will be subject to fines. Buildings with units 1 to 8 can be faced with a $25 first offense, $50 for a second offense, and $100 for third and subsequent offenses. Buildings with 9 or more units can be faced with $100 for the first offense, $200 for the second offense, and $300 for the third and subsequent offenses. Flyers are also available on the information table. The Municipal Archives Division of the city's Department of Records and Information Services, that's DORIS, DORIS, which holds the city government's historical records dating from 1636 to present. The archives has an adverse board consisting of 15 members appointed by the mayor. Doris is reaching out to the city's community boards, for which are the most local government bodies, to ask if community boards have any suggestions for possible members on the advisory board. So please, if you can send your suggestions to me to the board office, I will forward them to Doris. And also, the person in charge is Gerald Rosario, and his email address is also available if you want to see me after the meeting. And that concludes my announcements.
Just a plug for Doris. Doris is really cool. It has the original records from the Dutch settlement of New Amsterdam, as well as all of the marriage, death, etc. paperwork for people who have lived and passed away in New York City, and all of the criminal record, like judicial proceedings records. So it's got a lot of history in it.
cb9dc.org, and direct notification will be provided to CB9 via email to CB9 Board Chair, the Honorable Victor Edwards, and to CB9 District Manager, Ms. Eutha Prince. We look forward to our continuing partnership with CB9 on both initiatives. That's a statement from Board Chair Judge Tingling. Now, I have to take a moment and talk about what I like to call whoa. Whoa, before we were talking to you about the Seniors Older Adults Coalition, we have been working and supporting with that, but officially as of March, the Seniors Older Adults Coalition is now the West Harlem Older Adults Alliance. And I want, as a member of that coalition, I want to acknowledge and congratulate WHDC also for their support of the events. Mr. William Hamer, yes, Mr. Hamer, who's Executive Director of Harlem Advocates for Seniors. And I'm gonna take a moment and be bold and ask for applause for each of the following people that I'm going to recognize. The Honorable Walter Alexander, the Honorable Patricia Caldwell, the Honorable Deirdre McIntosh Brown, and the Honorable Francina Waring. We are all colleagues from CB9 who have been represented on that on WHOA. I call it WHOA. I hope we can keep calling it WHOA. and it's been a pleasure to work with all of you. And I just want to say that our best is yet to come. So I just wanted to acknowledge you all for that. But it would, I'm giving God the glory on that one, but it wouldn't be nothing without all of you. So thank you all for everything that you do. Let me see. Assemblyman Al Taylor had hosted a Black History and Dominican Heritage Unity celebration on Friday 28th. Judge Tingling was among the honorees. Additional honorees was Mr. Joseph Eady, Harlem business owner of Joe's Eady's Fashion City, Mr. Jeffrey Garcia, Executive Director, New York City Office of Nightlife, Ms. Sandra Jaquez, President of the New York State Latino Restaurant Bar and Lounge Association, Ms. Albania Jimenez, Senior Director of Advocacy and Strategy and of Literacy and Community Link, and Ms. Pauline Watson, educator and retired community health worker and the chair of the Esplanade Gardens Wellness Committee. I salute all of them. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, I would like to just ask one thing. I like to do this, so please just bear with me. Happy Women's History Month. Definitely happy with it. And I also like to acknowledge and ask rest in peace for former CB10 member and civil rights icon, the Honorable Hazel M. Dukes. I'd like to acknowledge her. I were there at the service and there was other people, but we have to acknowledge our icons and we have to acknowledge our legends, and we need to let them know how much they're appreciated. So I know she loved all of us and appreciated it. I just had to acknowledge her at this moment. Thank you very much.
I would just add, thank you, Pat, for the vote of confidence. Was appointed to the board in February. We have not had our first full board meeting since. However, I have joined, along with Ted and Pat Watler Johnson, the Strategic Planning Committee. And we'll be taking a look at the future of the Development Corp now that Columbia has dispersed the last of its direct monetary contributions to the general fund. There is still a $10 million outstanding piece for the affordable housing fund that will come due when they hit certain milestones in their construction. But I know we'll be reaching out to a lot of folks for technical assistance and ideas, and so I'm grateful to be able to serve.
Just on another note, a side note on West Harlem Development Corp. I met with Judge Tingling and Ziad Ramadan, Executive Director, last month, and my two asks were, one was to have Ziad come quarterly, which Kofi had done in the past, to report himself along with our representatives, but just to see the executive director come and speak. I've asked that a couple of times now, so I'm hoping that will happen soon. Soon, yes. Secondly was grantees. I reminded them that grantees, we need to space them out. We can't have them all come to the meetings at one time and overwhelm us. So they are trying to work on that. And we're going to work on that ourselves. So hopefully that happens. Next on the agenda is UMES, Honorable Reverend Georgette Morgan Thomas. I don't know if she has a report for us tonight. Unless she's a bit under the weather.
Reverend, you can unmute yourself.
All right, come back. Manhattan Borough President. EP. Manhattan Borough President's Office to report. Thank you, sir.
Not a problem, not a problem. Microphone check, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Took me back. I'm sorry. First and foremost, it's an honor and a pleasure to be before CB9. I'm representing the Honorable Mark Levine. Just a couple of things. The first two things, actually, the board chair has gone over. We'd like to thank everyone, new applicants and also re-applicants, who applied for the community boards. We had over 940 applicants this year. So we actually went up by about, I want to say 15% over last year. So thank you. But also to the point of the chairman, if for whatever reason as a reapplicant, you've missed the interviews, please feel free to email Victor as well as email me. So I'll give you my email at the end. That way we can make sure that you're accounted for, because we are going to have to do something for those who missed it for whatever reason. We don't know what happened, but we want to make sure that we take care of you. And that's only for those who are re-applicants, not new applicants. Okay, that's number one. Number two, as was stated, Sunday, March 23rd, the Manhattan State of the Borough Address by, again, your Manhattan Borough President, Mark Levine, where we're going to focus on the power of partnerships and making sure that Manhattans are civically engaged. So that's going to be at 2 o'clock, LaGuardia High School, doors open at 1:30. The address is 100 Amsterdam Avenue. And again, we're going to have light refreshments after that. So feel free to RSVP. If you, for whatever reason, don't RSVP, show up. We're still going to welcome you. First come, first served basis, as they say. So we're looking forward to having you there. Now, the next two things I have is the VP, Borough President, in conjunction with Councilmember Shakar Krishan, Chair of the Parks Committee, wrote a letter to the mayor urging the city to reject Trump's bid for Woolman Rink. Yes, I did say that. Our parks are spacing meant to be open to all, and we feel as though that runs counter to the Trump brand. So just understand that that's on the radar. And last but not least, the borough president also had an op-ed recently focusing on the broken mental health system, and it highlighted a number of growing need for services. One of the services the borough president highlighted was dramatically increasing the number of inpatient transition to home beds, which provides recovery-focused wraparound services, which may put a small dent in some of the mental health issues that we're seeing, whether it be on public transportation or as you're walking through the streets of CB9. So with that being said, I'll yield back my time unless there's any questions. I am here. I'll leave you with my email address for those who want to take it. It's sbrannon, SBRANNON at manhattanbp.nyc.gov. Most of you already have it, but for those who might be new, and my cell number, which is the best way to reach me, is 917-923-3374. And as some board members can tell you, I will answer my phone. I will come out and meet with you, even though I may stare at the phone. So, yes.
Yeah.
I cannot explain it. That's above my pay grade. But it's something new that just kind of came on our radar. And for those who remember, the Trump organization at one point was affiliated with Roman. In terms of the recent occurrence, I don't have that information. I can get that information for you, but let's just say the Trump organization is still alive. Alive, even though he's the president and it shouldn't be. Any other questions before I yield my time? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up, we will go into public session. We have quite a few speakers tonight. Just want to remind people it's 3 minutes max. We have to be out of this building at 9 o'clock and we have quite a few items. So whatever you're saying, I know it's important, but let's keep it concise.
All right. Up, the first speaker is Shannon Richards, Cast for Kids, Harlem Mirror. And you can come up to the mic right there and go ahead and give your spiel.
Good evening, folks. Can you hear me okay? Wonderful. Good evening. My name is Shannon Richards. I'm a resident of Riverview Towers, almost 30 years, and I'm an avid angler. Thank you for this opportunity to introduce you to an amazing event for school children with special needs, both on the physical and developmental spectrums, that will be taking place this June 1st between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. at the Harlem Mirror in front of the Charles A. Dana Discovery Center. Sponsored by a national organization, the Cast for Kids Foundation, C.A.S.T. for Kids Foundation, enriches the lives of children with special needs, supports their families, and strengthens communities through the sport of fishing. We empower families and communities to celebrate children with special needs, making these children feel valued and loved. I personally have volunteered at their events in Central Park 3 times now over the past 2 years. Nothing I have ever participated in while fishing has proven more fulfilling, although my volunteerism with Boy Scouts of America Troop 5 Harlem's fishing event comes pretty damn close. With my limited time, I have 2 goals this evening. Number 1, to raise your awareness. This is a free event. It serves the special needs of children in our community. The Harlem Mirror is our local water, and yet I find lack of awareness often leads to poor participation and underrepresentation of those majority communities within Harlem. I hope to do better with your assistance. I hope to reach more folks who can help increase that attendance with my presence here this evening. Number 2, to seek your aid in reaching the right audiences, schools, children's programming that serve special needs, eligible families. This event provides a miraculous day of learning to fish. All the gear and tackle is provided. Lunch is provided. All children participants receive a pictured plaque celebrating their participation, and they all get to keep their rod, their reel, their tackle box, complete with materials and bait so they can go fishing again. I could go on and on and on, and many of you know this is true. Please help me reach the appropriate communities within Community Board 9, but also the adjacent communities along the North Park of Community Boards 10 and 11, who should view the Harlem Mirror as their backyard pond. Better awareness of this event will lead to better participation and further success in Cast for Kids for their mission to serve children with special needs through fishing. Contact me through my contact information, and as well, I've provided detailed information to Community Board 9 and the wonderful Myth Youth of Prince. Happy to answer questions. Flyers are printed and on the table. Youth, thank you so much for that. And registration is now open. Lastly, we also could use volunteers with basic fishing experience to make sure that we match up with these children with special needs that day. And if you're an angler or know one and you're willing to help, again, happy to engage with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Richards. What's the question?
What about if they have siblings? Do they have to come alone, or is there something that will?
It is specifically targeted for the children who have special needs. They are the registrants. They receive the materials, they receive the attention and the recognition. In my participation with these events, very often families will bring another child because it's a day out in the park. Usually at the end of the event, there are some holdovers. We try to get those kids who maybe haven't had a chance to fish while their siblings have fished to maybe use some leftover equipment or the equipment of their siblings to have some time on the water. But it is truly specifically targeted to those children who register, those families whose children have special needs.
Thank you very much. And we have our next public session speaker coming right up. Miss Janelle Carter Bowman from the George Bruce Library.
Hi, good evening, everyone. For those that are guests here, we are located at 518 West 125th Street, just a block east of here. So I just have a couple announcements. So first, next week on March 27th, we are collaborating with CUNY Fast and the Coalition for College for a drop-in financial aid application session. So please bring your high school students, bring parents. We know the FAFSA application is very complex, especially with the new changes. So this is very valuable. And also the staff that's coming from CUNY Fast speak Spanish as well. So for the families that their first language is Spanish, please tell them to come in. Once again, this will be on March 27th from 4 to 6 in our community room. On Saturday, March 29th at 2 p.m., we will be having a reading rhythms at George Bruce Library. So basically, this is going to be a party-like activity where book lovers can come and you get to socialize with other book lovers, have some fun activities to do, and just talk about your love of reading. And this will be happening on Saturday, March 29th at 2 p.m. We will be having our bi-weekly English conversation group on Tuesday, April 8th and 22nd at 4 p.m. This will actually be a hybrid setting. So if you're not able to come in person, you can actually join us virtually through Google Meet, or if you're able to come and you'll be able to practice speaking English with other people who are looking to socialize and practice their English as well. Okay. And my last announcement is our monthly Job Search Fundamentals program that will be happening on Wednesday, April 16th at 2 p.m. This will also be a hybrid format. So you could come virtually or in person. So if you're looking to re-enter the job force, we know this is an employer's market right now, and you want to just learn new tips on searching for jobs online and finding about library resources that can help you in the stages of the application process, please join us. And all of these can be, you can do registration at nypl.org/events. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ms. Tina Reuter is up now, and then following will be Ms. Siobhan Ramsey.
First, I just want to thank you for the work you're doing, talking to people at Columbia about opening up the 116th pedestrian easement. I have been trying, since that street is closed, the traffic going around on 114th is greatly increased. And I've been pushing, trying to figure out a way. They have a tent blocking the sidewalk on the north side of 114th Street. There's a gate to Columbia, and they have a tent that blocks 80% of the sidewalk. And I've been trying to find out if Columbia got a permit to put that tent up there. And I called something called like the Department of City Activities that would give the permit. And they told me indirectly, they didn't think there was a permit given by Columbia to have that tent there. That there's a space inside the gate. So they could put that tent on campus for the guards, and then the sidewalk would be open because there's all this traffic that can't go on 116th. You see people with wheelchairs or baby strollers, and they have to wait in line to get around this tent. So sometimes there are police officers here. Seems like there aren't tonight, but I have asked a police officer because I think if I put up a tent in front of my apartment building, the police would stop me. But it doesn't work that way for Columbia. And the police officer basically, in a funny way, laughed at me for thinking that he could do anything about it. So I'm hopeful, I want to escalate that because I know this battle, we're suing Columbia, we're hoping to win, but maybe we can get the access to 114th Street. So at least going around is a little less painful.
If you put up a tent on a lawn in front of Columbia's library, you'll get the NYPD real quick.
I'm not, I can't, I'm not going on campus, so I'm not putting up a tent, but, and thank you. Cause it's like just showing how obnoxious they are, that they block the sidewalk and they don't care. Anyway,
Yep.
that's my.
Thank you very much, Ms. Reuter. Next up, we have Siobhan Ramsey, followed by, there's someone,
Young lady about the bus stop.
what's that? Oh, okay. Go ahead, Ms. Ramsey.
Good evening, everyone. I am Siobhan Ramsey. I am the program director over at New Broadway's Family Shelter. We provide temporary housing to those who are affected by homelessness on a temporary basis. We provide wraparound services, whether that be medical, mental health, things of that nature, just to make sure that our individuals are placed back into community and not facing recidivism. Also, we are a recipient of the West Harlem Development Corporation grantee, which we have used to utilize rebuilding our community space for our clients and parents so that they can have somewhere to go, whether it be for interviews, recreational, anything that you could think of, just to not let the disenfranchised feel like they're disenfranchised. And that's what I have for you guys tonight. 540 West 126th Street. Close to the precinct.
Closer to Old Broadway than New Broadway.
Correct, yes,
Yeah.
right across the street. Yes.
What? Go ahead.
So we are linked with Department of Homeless Services, which is DHS, and that's how we get our referrals. Yeah, so families have to go to PATH, and that's how they come through our system. So it has to be a family, whether it looks like mom and dad, a pregnant mom, sometimes father and children come home, someone may be incarcerated, have custody of their child, and we take them in and provide necessary services. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Letitia Lee. And following Ms. Lee will be Ms. Rodriguez from NIMIC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Letitia Lee from the Morningside Heights branch of the New York Public Library, located at 2900 Broadway. I just have to talk about two of our programs that we're hoping that all of you can join us at. Just like Janelle mentioned, the New York Public Library is working with Reading Rhythms, and so Morningside Heights will be hosting a Reading Rhythms reading party on Tuesday, April 1st at 3 p.m. So just like Janelle said, it's just a reading party. We're gonna have some reading activities. It is the first day of Poetry Month, so we'll have some nice poetry giveaways. The second announcement, well, there's three actually. The second announcement is we are starting back working with Moving for Life. And that organization does moving dance exercises for older adults. So our first program for this season will be on April 1st at 1 p.m. at the Morningside Heights Library. And the third and final announcement is our open stage, which is just like open mic. We invite everyone to come in and do your poetry, your music, whatever you need to do. And that's going to be on Saturday, April 5th, always the first Saturday of the month. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Ms. Rodriguez, and who will be followed finally by Ms. Sandra Ultimo.
Good evening, everyone. So I work for NIMIC, Northern Manhattan Improvement Corporation. I don't know if everyone has heard of it. It's a not-for-profit organization. Thank you. We've been around since 1979. We are a settlement house. We have a lot of services. We have two locations, one on 45 Wadsworth Avenue, another one in the Bronx, 8 Clinton Place. We have a whole list of services. We have housing services to help avoid eviction. We have an education department. We have immigration services. We have DV services. We have, I'm making sure I don't forget anything. We have also services for career services. We have a food pantry. We have benefits. We also have taxes, which is, we're in the season right now, and that's a very important piece right there. We are doing appointments on Thursday. I have the flyer over here. If you guys want to pick it up. The bottom one is for the taxes. It tells you you can call on Thursdays from 9 to 12, and you can schedule an appointment. Another piece that we have here is we're having an immigration webinar. And we have lawyers and paralegals, and they're putting together this webinar. It's really important during this climate that we have right now. Anybody who needs information or knows somebody, you don't have to physically go anywhere. You can just scan the QR code and you can access it through a phone or a computer. Again, that is also here on the table if anyone wants to pick it up so we can share that. And lastly, I want to reach out to the Committee on Youth and Education for your meeting on the 8th. I would love to be part of that and share more information about our education department. Are you guys here? Here? That's you? Oh, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna give you my card and stuff information. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rodriguez. And I will just note I was mistaken. We have next up Ms. Ultimo, but then followed by Andrew De Silva and Deirdre McIntosh Brown. And Yael Sanchez. We have more. But
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sandra JF Ultimo. I am from Chosen Generation 1 Inc. We are housed at 500 West 148th Street. We represent the Haitians in both Bronx and Manhattan. We have partnered with all of the Haitian pastors here in Harlem, all throughout Manhattan, actually, and throughout the Bronx. And I'm here also to inform you of something that happened on February the 25th to one of our clients. He's an immigrant. He came last year. We helped him because we do help with immigration services, job placement, job training. He became a security guard, got a job downtown, working as a security guard. Make a long story short, he was on his way to the store on the 25th. He got stabbed 14 times, Edgemont Park, between 156 and 158th Street. The sad part of the story is that he could not find help. He was running out of the park looking for help. And he said the first person he ran into, he asked for help. They said, this is New York. And what kept walking. The next person he asked for help said, I couldn't help. He said he actually ran into the middle of the street and laid on top of a car that was at a red light to see if they would help him. And the guy honked his horn. If you don't move, you're gonna get run over. He kept going from block to block until he found someone who spoke Spanish who tried to use his phone to call the cops, but could not. His phone was not working for some strange reason. Tried to use the kiosk. Kiosk was not working. This is mind-boggling. But eventually they did have to find cops. One of the guy who was helping him said that he actually stood in the street himself to stop police cars. Nobody stopped. They actually had to walk 3 more blocks, actually run. And by the time he got to the 3rd block, he passed out. But the guy helped him in the sense to locate police. And my thing was, my issue was, nobody would help, just call the police. So we have a problem. We have a problem. And the other piece was Edgecombe Park. I mean, I grew up in Harlem. My mother always told me, stay out of Edgecombe. But are we gonna always stay out of Edgecombe? Yeah. I mean, I didn't know anybody got stabbed there, but it was always bad from what I knew. But that's another issue, for maybe for the, another time. But what I'm asking is that we are more, I guess people care a little bit more for one another. And as an organization, we help the immigrants to become acclimated to the city and help them to get the service necessary for them. So thank you for this space. I did not come with flyers, but I normally leave them here. I would leave my information. I could email it to you guys. I apologize. I did not come with flyers. Oh, I sent it to you guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So next up, we have Andrew De Silva and followed not by Deirdre McIntosh Brown, but Yael Leopold. Is that right? Okay. Mr.
Andrew, you're up. You can unmute yourself.
Yes. Hi, good evening, Community Board 9 members and constituents. My name is Andrew De Silva. I'm the Director of Recruitment and Retention at the Grace Institute, a grantee of West Harlem Development Corporation. Excuse me. I'm here this evening to introduce the Grace Institute, a workforce training development program that's committed to empowering women for the last 125 years. Our program is offered at no cost to prospective members, which includes 12 weeks of a hybrid training that prepares women for careers in corporate, healthcare, and nonprofit sectors. Today, I want to humbly avail myself as a partner with the Community Board 9 district members to expand job readiness resources, connect with local employers with trained talent. Many job seekers are eager to advance their careers, but they may not have the access to. Grace Institute seeks to be a bridge to gap by providing resume workshops, career coaching, specialized training that prepares candidates for non-clinical careers in healthcare and office administrative roles. That's why we're looking here for support from the community, Board 9 organizations and local employers to create a workshop series, a workshop resume series, and strategically hire a pipeline that directly serves the members and the needs of Community Board District 9. So we have 3 acts here today. We're seeking support for recruitment. If you know somebody who could benefit from this program, we are accepting applications for the spring and summer. Enrollment is now open through April 25th, with training beginning on May 12th, 2025. We're also availing ourselves for some direct work in community. We're inviting the community partners to collaborate with us to host a series of resume workshop and career readiness workshop led by the Grace staff. We hope that these sessions will equip job seekers with tailored high impact resumes and interview skills to increase their chances of secure and stable employment. And employer collaboration. We're seeking to build relationships with local businesses and organizations to help join identifying the hiring needs, creating a direct pathway and pipeline for employment for our graduates. With our industry specific training in Microsoft Office, Google Suite, database management, project management, medical terminology, event coordination. We're hoping that we have prepared graduates that can contribute to your teams immediately. So we are seeking to collaborate. Let's work together to empower job seekers in CB9. If you're a community leader, employer, organization interested in collaborating, we look forward from hearing from you. You can reach out to us at admissions@graceinstitute.org or visit graceinstitute.org to learn more. Today, we humbly seek your support to contribute to the workforce opportunities within the district. And thank you for this presentation. And I'll also provide Youth and Prince a digital copy of our flyer for opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Economic development, right? Oh, yes. So he will send his information to youth, he said.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Last up, we have an update from PS 125 given by Deirdre.
So actually, good evening. I'm just going to start out before Principal PS 125 Yael Leopold starts. We are continued asking for after-school funding. This particular year, the school year, that after-school funding was cut from many of our community school, including PS 125, where families were left at the last minute with no after-school for their children. So we've been meeting, and she was here. They presented last month, and it continues because before you know it, this school year will be out and the budget for another school year will come. So we're asking elected officials or community and any organizations to help us find after-school funding for our children, our students. I'll turn it over to Yael.
She's online, right there?
Hi, everybody. I'm here. Sorry for calling from my car. I haven't made it home from work yet, so apologies. Just want to say thank you so much to Community Board 9 for your advocacy on behalf of our school community always. And I know Dee just got one shout out earlier, but I also have to shout out Deidre for being an amazing advocate for our school community as well. I'm here to talk about a real issue in our community, the Harlem community, District 5 community, and specifically our school community, which is after school care, especially for elementary school children. I'll say the most important after school care need is for children who cannot walk home by themselves, who need adult supervision. And those children are children who are in early childhood, 3K pre-K through 5th grade. Our school services pre-K through 5th grade children. And this year we had a real nightmare of a situation where state funding was taken and given to other schools in upstate New York or other schools in New York City who had never had after school funding through state grants before. That being said, we are in a similar dire situation now where we are facing the prospect of having no after school programming for next year. We are asking elected officials and for anyone in the community who feels moved to advocate on our behalf to ensure that we have the ability to provide after school for not just our children, but for all children in Community Board 9's district, Community Board 10's district, and for historically marginalized communities such as Harlem, who has always had the least amount of resources provided to them, children, families, and schools. We're really asking for your support, whether it's emailing elected officials or City Hall or DYCD, to push and move them to provide the funding that our children and families deserve. I'll also add what many people already know, which is, well, we are a Title I school, and that many of our families rely on after hours care so that they can work, attend to the work either outside of the home or in the home that they need to do, and to support their family. Our after school also provided a third meal for the day, which was supper, so that all of our children were provided 3 square meals during the school day and in after school, as well as a safe and nurturing and loving environment for children to be in after school hours, which is paramount. I'm really asking for support again from the community. My name is Yael Leopold. I'm at PS 125, which is on 123rd between Morningside and Amsterdam. We welcome anyone to contact us or come by and visit our school. And we really hope that we can get your support in making this a reality for our children and families. But again, even beyond our school community, a reality for all schools in District 5 and in the greater Harlem community. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And that concludes our public session. I turn it back to Victor for elected officials.
Okay. Lucas from Cordell Clare's office. Hey, Lucas, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. Wait. My name is Lucas from Senator Cordell Clear's office. I have quite a few updates, but I'll be quick. The Senator has been with Community Board 9, Community Board 10, 11, and a lot of other local community groups and a One Harlem coalition that's been working to quell Columbia's expansion and provide affordable housing from Columbia to the community. We met with them last Friday, and they tentatively agreed, so don't take, this isn't a commitment yet, but we're working on it, to give affordable housing units or rent stabilized units that they own that have not been leased out to community members. They've verbally, and we're going to get it in writing, committed to release units that they own that have been vacant but are rent stabilized units back to the community. So that's something we're working on. Then we have done more advocacy. If you're interested, you can always call our office and speak to me. I've been leading our point person for that in our office. And we put forward a bill regarding the 1727 Amsterdam project to ensure that the Health and Hospitals Commission would have to go through ULURP in that process. Thank you. We're also working with the West Harlem Community Preservation Organization, and we've been speaking with Barry a lot about that project. So we're anticipating a lot more collaboration going forward to make sure that the city goes through all the proper processes. Again, because it's city, we have less purview over that, but we can still push where we can. We are also working on a West Harlem Historic District bill. There's an East Harlem Historic District, so now we're trying to build one in West Harlem as well. Also, the Senate One House budget passed. I would recommend looking out. We're gonna put article on the website tomorrow regarding the specific things that are relevant that Senator Clear had pushed for a lot in the budget. But a quick preview is they got over $1 billion additional funding because of City of Yes that had gone by. So that's 500 million gone to NYCHA, 60 million for preserved multifamily housing, 30 million for senior housing, and then there's also a lot of other. The senator was at the Health Budget Council this week, advocating for seniors as the chair of the aging committee. Again, go on the Senator Clear's website and you'll find all the things that she advocated for there. I just posted that today. I also want to say she put forward a resolution honoring Hazel Dukes. So she was honored on the Senate floor. That's also on the website. And then we're posting this, but we had drafted a statement regarding Mahmoud Khalil as well, and his abduction by the Department of Homeland Security and the precedent that has on legal immigrants, especially because this has immigrants in this community. So that's also a big thing that the senator wants to make sure she's defending immigrants in that way. Finally, something I want to shout out. I know Barry shouted out the microfiche. Another really awesome resource that we were recently brought to our attention was the ANHDDAP portal, which is the Association for Neighborhood and Housing Development Displacement Alert portal. And it's a really great portal. If you look up ANHDDAP online, you'll be able to see all of the HPD violations and 311 calls that have happened to your building, all the Marshall evictions, how many units are rent stabilized in your building, and then the history of that has decreased. So it's a really great resource to fight gentrification and as a tenant to be involved and aware of what's happening in your building. ANHD is the Association for Neighborhood Housing something. They're a nonprofit we've worked with. Do you know what it is? Oh, okay. Yeah, displacement alert portal. Am I out of time? Anyways, okay, I'm out of time. Sorry, guys, but you can always call us 212-222-7315. And then we're happy to help.
Thanks, Lucas. Thank you. Next up, Tiffany Brown from the Mayor's Office.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry I couldn't be in attendance in person, but I just have two things I want to report on. Our great mayor, Eric Adams, announces the removal of 1,000 illegal firearms from New York City streets since the beginning of 2025. Mayor Eric Adams and New York City Police Department Commissioner Jessica Tisch announced that that NYPD removed 1,000 illegal firearms from New York City streets since the beginning of the new year, bringing the total number of firearms seized since the start of Adams' administration to 20,700. The significant firearm seizure figure represents more than 3,000 additional illegal guns removed from New York City streets compared to 3 years before Mayor Adams came into office, between 2019 and 2021. Because of the Adams administration's steadfast focus on eradicating gun violence, homicides and shootings have consistently declined over the last 3 years, dropping a total of 4.2% and 22.7% for shootings and homicides, respectively. My second report will be our great Mayor Eric Adams kicks off Mental Health Week by celebrating 1 year of behavioral health blueprint. 33 million in funding to enhance city's behavioral health service. Mayor Eric Adams and NYC Health and Hospitals President CEO Derek Katz kicked off Mental Health Week by celebrating accomplishments in the first year of the Adams administration comprehensive 3-year plan, behavioral health blueprint, turning crisis into opportunity to strengthen and expand its behavioral health services. The 2024 Behavioral Health Annual Progress Report details the advancement of initiatives to build capacity and resilience into the city's behavioral health services and health workforce. And with that being said, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, guys.
Okay. Next up, Evelyn Collado from the Comptroller's Office.
Yes, good evening, Community Board 9.
Good evening.
Greetings from New York City Controller Brad Lander, and thank you for the opportunity to present tonight. I just want to do a quick reminder to Community Board 9 that our office continues to look at all our options to respond to the unprecedented actions by President Trump and Elon Musk. We continue to monitor various federal funding freezes and grabbacks, including the clawback of $80 million from one of our city's bank accounts. We are challenging this action in the court system and continue coordinating closely with the Attorney General's office to understand the legal landscape while we closely monitor budget impacts to the city. In addition to this, I want to bring your attention to our Turn Up the Heat report that was released earlier this month. The original report was issued in 2023 on the 1-year anniversary of the tragic fire at the Twin Parks development in the Bronx that took the lives of 17 New Yorkers and injured dozens more. In the original report, we identified 1,283 buildings where tenants complained of a lack of heat more than 5 times each winter between 2017 and 2021. In January 2025, a Bronx building burned, leaving over 250 residents, including 58 children, displaced from their home. Since then, the Controller's Office released, since it was released, the original report, space heaters have caused more than 50 fires. Our updated report found that since then, since last year, 901 of the 1,283 buildings remain listed as chronically underheated for 7 winters in a row, with 20% of those 901 buildings never obtaining any intervention from HPD for the entire 7-year period from 2017 to 2024. This report found that when deployed, the city's enforcement strategies for addressing heat complaints are generally effective. But given HPD's failure to deploy the tools at its disposal to address the situation, we are now calling for HPD to immediately escalate its enforcement mechanisms to transfer building ownership away from owners that disregard tenant health and safety and into the hands of responsible owners. You can find more information on the heat report and others by going to controller.nyc.gov/newsroom. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Next up, representative from Sean Abreu's office, Alyssa.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here tonight. I'm honored. Typically, our district director covers these meetings along with the council member, so please forgive my nervousness. This is my first time here. Some events that are coming up, which the most important of which I think is participatory budgeting vote week. That's $1 million for District 7, and your vote counts. You can vote online throughout the entire week or at different sites in person, Monday through Friday at our district office, which is at the corner of 141st in Amsterdam. We'll be open for voting as well on Saturday, the 29th, which is the first day of voting, which is going to be held in tandem with a pet adoption event, again, at our office at 141st in Amsterdam. And there will also be an in-person voting site at the Columbus Amsterdam Business Improvement District on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays throughout the entire voting week, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We have one more date of HPD support on April 3rd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. outside our district office and outside of Ascension Church. And we also have an e-waste event on Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., which is going to be on Amsterdam Avenue between West 109th and West 110th Street. On March 21st from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be a cleanup at the Grant Shade Garden on 125th Street next to the George Bruce Library. And the last event I have to bring up is the mammogram bus, which will be at Ascension Church, 221 West 107th Street. So these are going to be free mammograms given from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on April 16th. You can schedule your appointment with our office at 212-928-6814. Again, it's no insurance required, free mammograms. Please schedule with us at 212-928-6814. And then the last thing I have to say is regarding a new bill that Councilmember Abadel introduced. It's to create an office within the Department of Housing Preservation and Development, so HPD, to help manage aging HDFCs. So this office is intended to guide building finances, repairs, and other challenges, especially in West Harlem, where a lot of residents in HDFCs have faced financial struggles. Thank you so much for having me tonight. It's been an honor, and we can be reached at one more time, 212-928-6814, or at the corner of 141 in Amsterdam, which is where our district office is. Thank you so much for having me. Have a good night, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we're running a little short on time, so we're going to have to move quickly. We're going to jump to our resolutions. First one, Mahmoud Khalil.
Thank you, everyone. You can hear me, right? Yes. We'd like to speak today briefly about the arrest and detention of Mahmoud Khalil on Saturday, March 8th. As many of you may know, Mr. Khalil is a permanent resident and a member of our community, and he was arrested by plainclothes ICE officers in the lobby of his... Oh. Yeah. And he was arrested by plainclothes police ICE officers in his own building in front of his 8 months pregnant wife. Mr. Khalil has not been accused formally or convicted of any crime, but officials as high as the President of the United States have explicitly stated that he was arrested due to his pro-Palestinian advocacy and that his arrest would be the first of many to come. Many of us were deeply disturbed by this arrest and what it could stand for. And several of us collaborated on a resolution that condemns the arrest, demands the return of Mr. Khalil, and calls on our elected officials to do something about it and advocate for him. And I think regardless of what you feel about the campus advocacy, it's important to recognize that this is more fundamental. This is about speech, this is about protest, and these are our community's longstanding values that we've expressed through many, many years of many protest movements. So we submit this resolution and hope that there is support from committee members.
What? There was an, okay, there was an, okay.
Walter. There we go. Joyce, Miriam, Chris Berry, Patricia Caldwell, Felipe Castillo, Vanessa Kaufman, Joshua Christopher, Daniel Clark Jr., Juan Colmenares, excused. Gretchen Keneally, virtual. Maybe she got off. Carlton Davis. Justin Dent. Merida Dunn. Elizabeth Eastman. Victor Edwards. Lydia Garrison. John Martin Green. Daria Hardiman. Monique Hardin Cordero. Laquita Henry. Magdalene is excused. Heather Jason. Chris Johnson. Shao Keel is excused. Ted Kovalev is virtual or not. Tina Lumley. Deirdre Akadash Brown.
A resounding yes.
Alana Mercado is excused. Dr. Mongoya. Reverend Morgan Thomas. Virtual. Solomon Prophet. Signy's excused. Annette Robinson. Clayton Sanford. Veronica Savage. Patricia Watler Johnson. Liz White is excused. Francina Waring. Barry Weinberg is a yes. Shanika Wilson. Lisa Yu. All right. The vote is 1 against and everyone else in favor, and I haven't counted it yet, but Youth, I'll give you my sheet. Thank you. Okay. Oh, it's me? Okay. I will try to make this very brief. It is a subject that gets me the angriest I have been on this community board. It is, of course, 1727 Amsterdam Avenue, and the city and Health and Hospital Corps continued attempts to illegally circumvent the charter-required universal land use review process when they are attempting to dispose of 1727 Amsterdam, which is a city-owned property. HHC has sworn under oath that it has only ever been owned by the city of New York. They have also submitted to the court that if they had leased it to Heritage, it would have to go through ULURP because leasing city property requires ULURP, yet they don't seem to realize that leasing to BRC is also a ULURP matter. And so recently there has been an item submitted to the city council, land use item 0238-2025, I think, that would move 9 properties from the city to Health and Hospitals operating agreement, the first amendment of that operating agreement in 55 years, because they realize that, well, they know they've been lying to us and now they want to make the facts line up with their lies. And in that hearing on that item, Mydell Dela Cruz, the same person who told me when I called 3 years ago and asked what was happening, I don't think you're supposed to know about that yet, lied under oath when questioned by a council member if any of the services at the sites would be affected. They are evicting Heritage Healthcare. That will definitely affect services at that site, yet she said nothing will be affected. So this reso calls all that out, authorizes the board to take legal action or join existing legal action, calls on Councilmember Abreu to not vote for 0238-25 or anything else that would transfer 1727 until it has gone through ULURP, expresses its disappointment with the borough president for supporting the project despite illegally skipping ULURP, and thanks those electeds who have stood with us in demanding it go through ULURP. Yeah, no, hold on, Josh. So the question is, where would the funding for litigation come from? I don't know. The community, yep. Hopefully pro bono. Other questions? All right, going once for unanimous consent, going twice. All right.
Next up, item 6, Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad, New York Scenic Byway Nomination Corridor Management Plan.
Sure. My name is Sage Hamilton Hazarika. I spoke once before. Thank you for your time again. I know we're coming to the wire extra fast. So we're the Underground Railroad Consortium. We're a nonprofit promoting abolition and emancipation history. We are the sponsor for a Harriet Tubman Scenic Byway. If approved, it would be the longest scenic byway in New York State, but specifically it connects sites of abolition and Underground Railroad history through the lens of Harriet Tubman and other freedom seekers. It gives agency to the Black communities that really made up the bulk of the Underground Railroad that don't always get their proper due. So the purpose of this resolution is to support the corridor management plan, which is our strategic plan that we're proposing to NYDOT at the state level. And then it also has a provision for not allowing any off-premise advertising, which means billboards, on our proposed route. This would be on Henry Hudson Parkway. So as far as I know, there's already that restriction on billboards, but basically it is the ultra local level support for this. We're going to 170 municipalities throughout New York State, including counties, villages, towns, and this would be one of many that we hope to include.
And 17 other municipalities have already approved.
Thank you very much.
Unanimous consent? No objections? No abstain? Thank you. All right. Moving onward. Letters of support. I see 3.
Deborah Levine here. Yeah, she's on.
Okay, Quita.
Okay, so very quickly, the City University of New York's School of Public Health requested letters of support from us, which we developed. One deals with training public health emergency preparedness and response training, because last year 80,000 public health workforce was needed. And in this coming year, by the end of this year, there'll be a loss of 129,000 workers. So they're projecting to recruit and train for public emergency health preparedness to work in all facilities, even on a volunteer level as well, because in the city, there's certain agencies that train in emergency public health. That's one letter of support. The second deals with, the second one deals with the Center for Innovation in Mental Health. And so they would train mental health persons in mental health preparedness to work in a holistic way to satisfy the needs of the mentally ill in the city.
Wait, isn't it 3? Did you do the second?
Unanimous consent it is.
Okay.
Thank you. Right.
Thank you.
That's all the resos and all letter supports.
Oh, no, you're right. There's one more. Yeah, West Harlem Market. This one, yeah.
Oh, yeah, liquor license.
Liquor license will be held over to next month. Fabrication, we can hold that over as well. Fabrication? Okay, go ahead. Who's presenting? Go ahead, Barrett.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Nope.
Yes. Liquor licenses, Solomon, quick?
Yeah, real quick.
Any objections?
There are five liquor license applications. All 5 were passed by the UST committee as well as NYPD. There were no issues on SLA or listing violations. The 5 are on the agenda.
You have a question?
Just about the Baylander on the 9, it says, I mean, is the Baylander back? Because it was not there last week, and it says Ferry Terminal 1.
Yeah, it will be coming back. Well, that's what they call that one slide, right? 2 abstaining, otherwise it's unanimous consent, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Any old business? No. New business?
Someone's already knows this, but this is my last board meeting. But it has been an amazing 12, 14 years. All of that time.
To anonymous consent.
Well, okay, so if they don't have it will reserve over. But this is
Motion to adjourn would be in order. Second, third.
So I'm no longer in the board? I didn't even just interview.
Thank you.
You came by email?
Thank you,
or what?
Lydia.
Can everybody bring up their voting sheets to the front? Thank you.